Hey guys, happy Witchy Wednesday. How is everybody today? Hopefully well. So on my WordPress, I did redid the 12 Days of Yule because I got totally I got totally chewed out for, not reblogging somebody's blog. So I just redid my own and did everything myself. Alright, so today we have the Emperor card. This is pretty amazing. I mean, this is really amazing. What a gorgeous card. What a gorgeous card. Isn't that amazing, you guys? Rachel is such a genius. Okay, now we have the Emperor. Beautiful paper, shiny nice. Alright, now, a high vibe of the Emperor would be control, security, power, force, stubbornness, authority, intellect, stability, rigidity, discipline, structure, and logic. The lower vibe would be immaturity, passivity, fear, cruelty, control issues, cowardice, unmotivated, blunt force, victimhood, and loose cannon. So, the Emperor represents a strong-willed individual who conquers with intellect, might, and practiced skill. So, this commanding, action-oriented archetype with an eye for detail offers wise counsel and guidance as easily as though disciplinary justice when needed. If you pull the Emperor, instinct, intelligence, drive, and dedication may have landed you a recent hard-won success. If that's not the case, use this time to actively pursue what you desire and examine how and where your energy and focus are divided. Well thought out, decisive action is called for. There's no time for excuses. Trying to win with sentiment is futile. A logical mind will move you forward. You may need to defend your honor or end a pattern of other people walking over you. Trust you've got the acumen to solidify a foundation for future success. And honor is today's Yule. Third day of Yule is about honor. So now in relationship dynamics, an assertive, intelligent, clever personality who likes things their way, may have entered your life. Nope, that's all me. Fair and not overly emotional. No, I'm overly emotional. The Emperor can tend to run their family and or relationships like a business. This might not create a warm and fuzzy dynamic, but the solid support offers is unparalleled. You'll feel safe, protected, and loved by the Emperor archetype. I don't know about that one. But they'll push you to be your best and come to your aid when deemed fit. So, alright, now I'm thinking of a narcissist, not the Emperor card. In professional life, the Emperor can be an authority figure who sets the rules. Speak up and base decisions on facts. Your natural charisma makes you a born leader. Take others' opinions into consideration before acting, and they'll follow you willingly. If your boss is the demanding sort, they'll be impressed by those who mirror their own never-ending drive and ambition. I like this. We can all use that kind of energy in our life. Now, if pulled in a low vibrationary state, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. And I love that song, and I love where you got that from. How will you wield your power? Issues of control can arise when the Emperor feels underappreciated. They become aloof and judgmental, cutting others off without warning. Claim your power while staying open to the needs of others. Overbearing, aloof, or defensive behavior may be causing tension and setbacks. Hubris and control issues can be a cover for low self-esteem. Fear of failure, depression, or anxiety. You may be driving away fertile opportunities. So it's time to loosen the reins and seize your victory. Now here is Rachel's excerpt into these snippets that she puts in here for the major arcana that go along with her life. So, now in 1990, I was living in the East Village and trying to make it as an actress. I just finished a lead role in an indie film and was picking up small parts on soaps. But my steady source of income was bartending at a Mexican spot called Caliente Cop on Waverly Place. Ooh. I was the only black employee they had, and it wasn't working out. A reggae club had opened up next door, and suddenly, Caliente Cab decided it needed a dress code, meaning sneakers weren't permitted. I could see the writing on the wall when my schedule started including fewer and fewer shifts, and then the 0 shifts. That's bullshit. They didn't want black. Sneaker-wearing patrons. That just irks me. So, and they didn't want a black bartender. I wish I could say I sued them, but those were different times. It was just the way it was. I know what you mean, but so that's bullshit. They should have never done that to you. Now, a friend told me that there was an audition for the stand-ins on The Cosby Show. It's an essential job, but for my younger, ambitious self, it wasn't attractive. Pass, I said. I want on-camera work, and stand-ins are basically glorified extras. It's on the freaking The Cosby Show, you dummy, she said. The #1 show in the world. Imagine all the people you could meet on a set like that who would hire you later. Just go. She was right. More important, I needed a job. I hopped on the subway in a borrowed vintage dress and headed for the downtown Astoria, Queens. With its row houses, flowered hedges and backyards. When I got to the studio, there was already a serious line of people wrapped around it, all of whom looked pretty much like me. Some were dancing and singing show tunes, fame style, and all of them were ready for their moment. Not my thing. Living in an NYU dorm with Sondheim fanatics had ruined all that for me. I hooked up my Walkman to a Hazel O'Connor punk mix and hunkered down for what promised to be a righteous wait. Eventually, we were herded into groups of 5 and led down a long hallway to meet Anne, the stage manager of the show, and her assistant director, Maynard. There was a quick interview, a headshot check, and a sentence or two apiece. It was like a group speed dating. Wow. When it was my turn, Maynard said, "Oh, that's a Lisa Bonet dress." Without thinking, I shot back, "Oh no, this is a Rachel True dress." I like that. "Who's Rachel True?" "I am." I handed him my headshot, well aware that I was wasting my time. Oh, I like this sassiness that's coming along with this. This is great. Now, when I got home, there was a message from Maynard on my machine. I'd gotten the thumbs up. I knew it wasn't a killer job or anything, but it was steady pay. And as dismissive as I initially felt about the gig, I was thrilled to be associated with such an iconic show. Wow, congratulations. Here, live and in person, were all the people America couldn't get enough of on Thursday nights. I actually hadn't seen many episodes. I didn't have television, but I was well aware of who Theo, Ruby, Sabrina, Vanessa, and Denise Huxtable were. Lisa Bonet, who played Denise, was returning to the show after having left A Different World to marry Lenny Kravitz and have their baby Zoe, who was 6 months old and nestled in a stroller nearby. They decided to give Denise a stepchild, Olivia, played by Raven Simone. Oh wow. And a husband, Martin, played by Joseph Phillips. Now the cast were chatting casually on the stage floor when in walked the man, the myth, the emperor himself, Bill Cosby. He was chomping on a cigar, which turned the freezing air on the soundstage into a curious mixture of stale smoke and freon. Ugh. Bill, or Mr. Cosby, as most people referred to him, was a master at making a comedy bit. Did he ever have a super magnetic, powerful vibe? Yes. Did he have a weird undercurrent of something you couldn't put your finger on? Definitely. I wrote it off as my own envy and insecurity in the face of such power. A stand-in's primary job is to act out the blocking, the movement of the main characters for technical run-through. So this way, the actors get a break while the cameramen work on the shots. I would recite the lines of whichever Cosby kid I was standing in for. Vanessa, played by Tempest Bledsoe at first, and eventually Denise. These weren't performances. I was going through the motions of what other people got to act out. Stand-ins are game pieces especially, but it was great practice and a chance to hone my comedy chops. That'd be exciting. So, one of the other new stand-ins was a pretty light-skinned girl who favored Lisa Bonet, and clearly had a personal relationship with Bill Cosby. He would come over and interact with her in a familiar way, and she would flirt with him. Ooh. She sat apart from the rest of us to let us know her rank. After a few weeks, she was replaced by a new light-skinned girl who happened to live in a condo on the same block as Mr. Cosby and had a dog that was the same breed as the dogs the star comedian raised and showed. I'm not saying she was a side chick, but I guess I'm saying it looked like she was a side chick, and she wasn't dispelling that notion. Eventually, I landed speaking roles on the show, not the norm for stand-ins. Once I was a patient of Bill's, and in a couple of episodes, I was a college friend of Theo's. Taking into account all we know about the star's sexual criminality, I was lucky I always flew under his radar. Not that I had anything to worry about. I am a shade or two darker than a paper bag. In the 2.5 years I worked there, Camille Cosby, Bill's wife, never made an appearance in Queens. It was almost as if she didn't exist, and it didn't take long to notice the parade of women who came through as special guests of Mr. Cosby every week, without fail. He seemed to have a lot of lady friends. I never thought terribly much of it, because he was a powerful man and had a lot of women who flocked to him. The vibe he gave off around these women seemed parental. It never occurred to me that any liaison would be anything but non-sexual, let alone non-consensual. My thoughts on the benign nature of these acquaintances shifted, however, during the series last season, when one of Mr. Cosby's friends showed up on tape, Day, looking visibly traumatized. She was normally a bright, vivacious girl who'd visited set as often as part of Bill's parade before landing a small co-starring role on the show. She'd been nervous all week, but now her hand shook as she held her script, and her eyes were noticeably downcast, avoiding Bill's gaze. Ooh. During a break, a few of us took her outside to find out what was wrong. In a broken, hushed tone, she recounted to us that Bill had requested she go to his house to run lines the night before. At first, I thought he'd just shoot her out for having a rough acting week. While she wasn't specific, she was shaking as she intoned that something was untoward had gone down. Oh, she'd been through something and was afraid to say what. I could see her internal struggle. She could reveal what had happened and potentially be banished from the kingdoms of Cosby, maybe even fired on the spot, or she could white-knuckle through the taping, which is what she did. Oh. I remember thinking I'd never go to a man's house late at night unless I was ready to give it up. Exactly. The 90s were peak victim blaming. Truth is, when there is an imbalance of power, sometimes it is impossible to say no. Ooh, that is a little scary. Back then, Bill Cosby's public image was laughter, family values, and pudding pops. Oh, I miss that. And now we're all awake. He was the archetypal representation of the high vibrations of the Emperor, a man who wields his power benevolently. But now we see a man who struggled with his shadow side. He was hiding behind the Emperor's mask, but secretly living in its low vibration energy. Ooh, I don't want to lose my spot. Wow. That's just, oh wow. I love the story, and I'm very glad nothing bad ever happened to you. That is very scary, and I can understand quite a few of those kinds of instances with people of power that are older than you that want to, trap you, and, trepidation, and it's scary, so I've stayed away. Sorry, my hair sucks today. I can relate to that with my very first, very serious boyfriend. I was 17 and he was in his, late 30s. So, very scary. Very scary, so. Alright guys, that's the Emperor card. Let's just remember that yeah, let's remember this card in a really good light. So, Rachel, I'm glad that you made it out unharmed. So, that's all that matters. So, but alright guys, I love you all very, very much. Please be safe, have a great holiday weekend, and I'll see you all tomorrow. So, happy Witchy Wednesday. I love you all the way from Venus, all the way back down. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So, everybody please be safe, and I love you.